Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of TD 202. In this episode, I will show you how to add dimensions to a drawing done in orthographic projection, as well as how to draw your orthographic symbol, indicating the type of orthographic drawing that you are doing. Stay tuned. Now, if you viewed the last episode, you would realize that this drawing was done from the last episode. And I had mentioned in that episode that I will continue in the next episode to add the dimensions to this drawing. Now, what are dimensions? The dimensions are the measurements that will be placed on the drawing, indicating the length, width, and height of various parts. Now, this will be done using dimension lines. Now, to know what dimension lines are, or to refresh your memory, you can view the episode in TD 101 that speaks to that. So let's go ahead and add some dimension lines to this drawing, indicating the measurements of the various sides. Okay, so I'm going to start with the plan. This is the plan, and if you notice this portion right here, it measures 60 millimeters. So at both points, let me erase this line a bit right here. At each point, I'm going to extend some line. Extend some lines, and they're going to be thin. They don't necessarily have to be as thin as a construction line, but there should be a distinct difference between those lines and the outline. After which, at a certain distance from this, and that distance may vary depending on you, I am going to, let me use 15. Let me use 10 millimeters away. If you are able to estimate it, you don't really have to measure. So I'm going to draw another line that is parallel to the line, or to the side that I'm going to indicate the measurement for, and that is the line. To complete the dimension line, I'm going to add arrows to each end. These arrows must be neat, so don't rush them. The size of the arrows don't matter as much, but they must not be too large, as it will affect the neatness of your work. So I'm going to now proceed to draw two lines, two guidelines, and these guidelines will serve to ensure that the text size is consistent. So I'm going to use 3 millimeters. So I've drawn the first line, and I'm going to draw 3 millimeters, or measure 3 millimeters to draw the other line. If you notice, the distance between these two lines are 3 millimeters. I'm going to now proceed to write the measurement, which in this case it is 60 millimeters. So this is the length of this side, or the distance from this point to this point. Next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to place the measurement at the top for this face and this face. So we already know from the previous drawing that this is 60 millimeters, and this is an additional 20 millimeters. So likewise, I already have these lines going up, so I'm going to just use them. I am going to estimate 1 centimeter, or 10 millimeters. I'm going to draw the line across. If you notice, This distance and this distance looks the same. They look the same. So I'm going to put the arrow. So this is the point I'm measuring from, and I'm going to stop here. So I'm going to put an arrow facing the opposite direction here, and you'll see it is indicated from this span. Then another one here, then another one here. And like the previous drawing, I'm going to draw. I'm going to start here, draw a line, and I'm just going to use the set square again to measure 3 millimeters. And if you notice, because these dimension lines are on the same plane, when I draw the line here, just draw it here, so I don't have to remeasure. So this measurement is also 60 millimeters. This one is 20 millimeters. Now there are no additional measurements that are needed on this plan view. Now, before we go any further, it's always good to label our drawing. So I'm going to draw a line under the drawing, and this time I'm going to measure 5 millimeters so that the labeling is bigger. And I'm going to write plan. Now this is not, once you have an orthographic symbol, it is going to be obvious which view is which. Now let's go to the front view. If you notice, I don't need to show these measurements on the front view. What I can show is the overall length. So let me extend some lines downwards. And I'm going to estimate my 1 centimeter again. If you are not good at estimating, you can measure so that your drawing is neat. I'm going to put my arrow. Ensure that the arrows look the same. Practice your arrows so that the drawing does not look messy. Ensure that they look straight. All right. So I'm going to draw my guidelines again. And at this point, I'm estimating the 3 millimeters, but please measure it when you're just starting out. So this distance between these two guidelines are 3 millimeters. So it's 60 plus 20. So this measurement is 80. If you're not certain how to write the numbers, please review the episode in TD 101 on lettering. It also deals with numbering. So the overall height of the drawing I will be putting here. If you notice, I'm ensuring that this dimension line is in line with this one. That also has to do with the drawing being presentable. The drawing looks neater that way. I'm also going to do the same thing with this. The dimension lines, the guidelines for the lettering rather. I'm ensuring that they are in line. The overall height for this drawing is 40 millimeters. And this is the front view. So let's now move on to the side view. I don't necessarily need this measurement. This is the width of the drawing. It has already been indicated here. There are two more measurements that I need to put. Now these measurements look equal. However, we don't want the persons viewing the drawing to estimate that. We want them to know for a fact, because they may or may not be equal. What they should use to know for a fact that they are equal is the dimensions that are placed on the drawing. And the dimensions will indicate whether they are equal or not. All right, so we know the overall height, but we now need to know the individual height for each part. And please remember, the dimension lines may be a bit brighter than the construction lines, but they should definitely be much lighter than the outlines. So this part is 20 millimeters. And please note, I'm not putting the millimeter notation after, because in technical drawing, we normally draw in millimeters unless otherwise stated. So everything here is in millimeters. I'm going to write end view. I'm going to ensure that this end view is written in line with the front view. So you can write end or side. I'm going to write end. All right. So we have successfully placed dimensions on the drawing. Based on the simplicity of the drawing, there are no additional dimensions that are needed. Any other dimension that would be placed would be unnecessary, such as placing dimensions here, or here, or here, or here, or here. Okay, so let's move on to the drawing of the orthographic symbol. Okay, so let's start. I'm firstly going to open my compass to a radius of 7 millimeters. That has already been done. And I'm going to draw a circle. 2. I'm going to draw a circle. So I have drawn the circle with a radius of 7 millimeters. I'm going to draw now another circle with a radius of 14 millimeters. All right, after I've done that, I'm going to proceed to draw some center lines through what I've drawn so far. And remember, center lines are long stroke, short stroke, long stroke, short stroke, going along. I'm going to continue this over the other side because I have another drawing to do, another portion of the drawing to do over this side. I'm also going to transport construction lines going across. I'm going to measure 35 millimeters from the center line to here. Then I'm going to measure another 28 millimeters I'm going to tell you why I'm using these specific measurements in a little while. Then at the point where I measure the 35, which is right here, I'm going to brighten the two inner construction lines. At the point where I've measured the additional 28 millimeters, I'm going to brighten from one of the outer construction lines to the other. The final thing I'm going to do is to connect the bottom of these lines and the top of these lines. And there you have it. This is the third angle projection symbol. Now let me explain this symbol. This is the front view of the symbol. It's a cone where a portion of the cone has been cut off. And this is the side view. So if you notice, you're looking from the left view and you're seeing the left view here. You're looking from the left and you're seeing the left view here. Right? So this is the third angle orthographic symbol. Now, for the first angle, if this was first angle projection, this symbol would have been over here, and this symbol would have been over here. So it would be reversed. Because please remember that in first angle projection, the left view is shown over the right, and the right view is shown over the left, and the plan is shown at the bottom. Now, there you have it. This is a completed orthographic drawing done in third angle projection, where the plan view is at the top, the front view is in line with the plan view right below it, and the end view is in line with the front view right beside it. There's no drawings in line with the plan. It is sitting by itself. The front view and the end view is in line, as is also the case in first angle projection. I hope you learned what was taught here today. Please like, share, and subscribe for more content, and have a good day.